Hello and welcome to the Online Trainers Podcast, where we go behind the scenes to uncover the latest tactics and strategies top trainers around the world are using to get more clients, dominate their marketplace, and get their clients amazing results. There is absolutely no fluff here. I'm your host, Lynn Trin.
Hello and welcome to episode number 32 on the Online Trainers Podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about what I would do from scratch if I had to start out in a completely new niche. And the reasons why I'm going to be talking about this particular topic, only because it not only excites me, gets me really pumped up, but I always get challenged in a few emails. I always get a few emails a week that really says, Lynn, I challenge you to build and grow yourself inside another niche that you've never been in before. So I really want to be able to show you what is going on in my head. And hopefully, if you've been listening to this podcast episode, if you've been following along the content, if you've been engaging with me on social media inside the Online Trainers Club, then some of this stuff might not sound too foreign, okay? But if it does sound foreign, then that's cool, because you're going to learn. I suppose I really hope that you're going to take a lot away out of this process. Now, if I was to start out from scratch, if I was to go in and I was to enter a completely new market, let's say I wanted to become a calisthenics coach, I would niche down and I would find a micro niche and a particular book that I really think that everybody should read, or everybody that wants to become influential, a trainer. If you're a trainer and you want to dominate, I don't mean thrive. Thriving's okay, and getting a client, you already know how to do that. But I mean build a legacy, dominate your marketplace, build something that is surviving for the next 5-10 years, no matter the flow. Because here's the thing, if you build an audience and you've got 1,000 true fans, then you're going to be set for life. If they can follow you along the journey, no matter whether you evolve from being inside the fitness space to then evolving in personal development, to running your own seminars, running your own retreats, or however way the shape and the industry is growing, you're actually building and cementing your segment inside that marketplace. So the first thing I would look at is I would look at micro niching. Find that one area that you can be that big fish inside the small pond very, very quickly, and it's not going to take you too long to build trust. It's not going to take you too long to build expert status. So when we look at this, we look at micro niching, and let's say I wanted a pretty good niche, I think, at this very moment in time, considering there are so many women competing in bodybuilding, is I would go for female bodybuilding post-comp. What do you do after you've competed inside a bodybuilding show, but we see a lot of coaches getting people and females into the show? What happens after the show? So we talk about things like refeeding. We talk about trying to bring and raise your metabolic rate back into its normal place. We'll talk about getting your hormones ready and resetting your hormones and metabolic damage, how to prevent that stuff. So I would segment myself and I would choose a niche. And let's say that was the niche I chose, okay? I'd be thinking about, okay, what does my social media have to look like for me to attract the right clients? And this is a big one. By me putting that image in your mind, it allows you to really graphically see, okay, I'm attracted to certain people because of their social media account. When I go onto someone's social media account and them and their clients are lifting some heavy ass weights, I know that they're a coach that gets people strong. Okay, and this has to be highly exaggerated. I see too many times inside trainers' social media accounts, I see too much ambiguity, okay, with what they do. So they might have a clean meal. They might put, photos of themselves, taking a pump photo after workout. They might put themselves with their family and their friends. And so when you position your social media account like this, anybody who doesn't know you, who's never seen you before, when they hop on, you start to blend in, you start to look like every single person. Now, if you can reverse engineer your social media account to go on and say, right, what does it have to look like to attract the right person? Now, let's take that example, and I'm in that micro niche of post-comp bikini. My social media account will literally be of women, exaggerated, who have blown out, who I would go off and find these people who have blown up completely, had a lot of metabolic damage, they've gained a lot of weight, and I'd be writing articles on that. And I'd say their comp picture on the left and then before and after on the right, okay? So as opposed to most people have it reversed the other way around, how they're fat on the left-hand side and then they're shredded on the right-hand side, I would say this is their competition picture on the left, and they were lean, they were competing, and then their after picture on the right. And that's what my social media account would be. It would be trying to find as many of those pictures. It'd be trying to talk about women and stressed out women, and I'd be posting blogs, and all my content will be trying to make someone who doesn't know, love and trust me, when they hop onto my social media account, they immediately know what I'm about. They don't just kind of feel like, oh, okay, this guy just trains chicks, but he's like, oh my God, this guy is actually educating these bikini girls on what could happen in the disaster. Okay, so that's what I would be doing. Now, that would be my content strategy. That would be in terms of the long-term game. I'd be on social media. I would start definitely a YouTube account, some sort of YouTube or video blog where I can share stories and I can share the journey and I can teach and I can educate. This is really what I would cement. Maybe 6 months down the track, I would then go off and start my own podcast and start interviewing experts. I'd start interviewing nutritionists, dietitians, hormone experts, doctors. I'd be interviewing all these girls who have gone through competition and who have had disaster, but I'd also, bring my own skills and expertise and knowledge to that table as well. In a year's time, I'd be writing a book. If I really wanted to build legacy here, and this is really talking about becoming that dominating the marketplace, I'd be writing a book. I'd be writing about the book of what you should do post-competition. So giving them the step-by-step guide as what ladies and girls should do after their competition finishes. I'd be putting myself out there and I'd spend maybe, 3 to 6 months writing a book and getting as much data as possible. But what the data and why I'd write the book after the podcast is because I'd have so much information. I'd be able to transcribe the podcast and put segments into my book. And so we're creating information, but repurposing a lot of the information. And this is our content marketing strategy. This is the long-term game. This is the 1 to the 5 year time frame. Okay. Short-term wise, to get clients, direct response marketing. Number one, I'd be going into Facebook groups and I'd be going into forums. I'd find out where all these girls are congregating. I'd find out where they're hanging out, and I would start helping people. When you're starting out and you're a small fish in a small pond, no one knows about you. You can start building a reputation. Okay. The second thing is I would start some sort of a video series. Okay. Challenges and video series works really well, but I would start a video series of maybe a 10-day video series of how you can overcome metabolic disorders, metabolic damage, how not to blow out after comp prep, things like that, to really get people to know, love and trust me, but also get them after the video series. I then schedule in possibly a 30-minute consultation call with me to see and map out a blueprint, a strategic blueprint on how they should really tackle their post-comp plan. Okay, and in doing so, then we look at my products and services that I line up. And this comes back to having a look at what is my first class service, what is my business class service, what is my economy class service. I would then script out maybe a 6-month course. And why I want to develop a course is because a course allows me to leverage my time better. It allows me to serve one to many whilst educating. Okay, someone who's got a course is going to be a lot more highly paid for their one-to-one time than a trainer who doesn't have a course. So I'd be building out a course. Okay, after comp, these are the biggest issues. These are the things that you should look at. Week 2, these are the issues. These are the things that you look at. Week 3, introduction to mindset. These are the biggest issues. These are the things that you look at. Week 4, okay, and then resetting and setting up maybe, depending on the time frame. And I'm no post-bikini comp expert, but I'd be setting up some sort of a course from 16 weeks to probably 6 months to make sure that they've got their fundamentals. Now from that course, I can then have a one-to-one coaching service with me with that course, and then maybe my economy class is an express version of that course that condenses that and allows people to come in at $197, but it gives them maybe an 8-week series or an 8 video series with task and actual education. So I talk about becoming the teacher quite a fair bit. Okay, so now that I've got my products and services lined up and I'm not selling myself, I'm not selling the, come sit up at the cockpit with me, I'm really then allowed to leverage my time. And so whenever I jump onto these consultation calls straight away with these girls, I can then figure out, okay, what's best suited for their need in terms of their budget, in terms of how badly do they want this and how much can I really help them? Because I know that if someone works one-to-one with me on that one-to-one level and I give them my flagship program, my 6-month online course, and they catch up with me weekly for Skype and they have me on Voxer where they can message me any of their questions throughout the day, I know I can be at my highest level of service for them, and that way they've got the best chances of getting results. Okay, but I do know that if they don't have the budget, then that's it, they can't afford that. So I understand that, and I can give them access to the flagship course, and the course might be $600-700, it might be $1,000, and group access to a private community. Or if they can't afford that, then I can say, look, I can give you the bare bone basics, and I've got this other course. It's an 8-week course, and you're going to learn everything you need to know, and you're going to learn my method. The most important thing is developing it as though it's your method. We have a look at this, and you have to create it with your own spin. People buy you. Okay, so I would go, look, I've got an 8-week express course, it's $200, and that becomes your downsell. And once you're able to do that, then you've got what I call an ascension ladder. Okay, so you've got your $200 program, you have your $1,000 program, and you might have a $5,000 product that is your ultimate product. It's your first class program where you can help and serve that client to the very best of the ability. Okay, so we talk about the long-term game, which is all my content marketing, which is all my posts. And so when I help these people and all the questions I get inside the community from my own clients, I then create blogs, podcasts, I then create content around that to then educate my prospects, okay? Now, at the same time, you know, we've got 2 marketing strategies. We've got our content marketing, long-term game. We're looking at this from 1 year to 5 year, where you're gonna dominate that because you're gonna start out with, you know, your blogs and your Instagram account, which is, I think, low level. But then as soon as 6 months hits, you start your own podcast and you get out there, you start interviewing. As soon as 12 months hits, you start to write your own book. Okay, so that's how I look at dominating the market, and that's what I would do. Now, in terms of direct response marketing, I would set up and launch a Facebook ad campaign and a funnel where I might launch a few. I might launch my first one and it's saying, okay, learn the 7 steps to stop post-comp rebound for women. And that would be essentially my lead magnet. But as I said in the previous podcast episodes, lead magnets don't work. So essentially, I would do a video series into a free Facebook group where I can engage them and I can build my tribe. And that's what you're invested in doing, okay? Because here's the thing, if they don't get value from my first 2 videos, they're not gonna get value from my real stuff. And the ultimate goal of those first 2 videos is to deliver massive value and help them make a transformation, help educate them, help build top of mind awareness. But the whole point is, the only reasons why I've been able to do this so quickly and so efficiently is because I've chosen a segment of the marketplace and I said, look, I'm going to focus on bikini girls and I'm going to focus on post-comp bodybuilding. Okay, and so when you look online, how many post-comp coaches are there that focus on bikini? There isn't any, but there are thousands of different micro niches. You can go out there and build that in that moment in time, and essentially that's what I would do. So I really hope this helps you, and if it does, please let me know. Leave a review. Let me know your honest review. Post inside the Online Trainers Club. What would you do if you had to start from scratch? What's your strategy? Is it aligned with exactly what I'm talking about here? Isn't it aligned? What do you need to do to go out there and start dominating? I don't want you to just get more clients. I want you to dominate. I want you to be the king of your castle, the king of your niche, because you know what? There's so many small micro niches that are untapped, and if you just focused on them, you could become easily the expert within a year and have a proper business set up where you're seeing exponential growth. But the problem is a lot of trainers are focusing on trying to capture everybody. Okay, and this is the number one reason, because when I go into a micro niche, I'll go out there and absolutely dominate this small segment of the market. And that's what I'm seeing in the future. And that's what I'm seeing happen, that in the next couple of years, these small micro niches are going to be completely dominated. And if you don't start now, you don't choose which king of the castle you're going to be, which land and territory you're going to take, somebody else is going to go out there. And as in 2020, 2021, when all the land's been taken, all the castles have been, you know, they've got their own king, you're going to look back and you're going to be like, well, I should have done this. I should have listened till the end. But you know, it's what? It's completely up to you. And I totally get it. But if you found value out of this podcast episode, here's what I want you to do. Okay, I want you to go off, share it to a colleague, a friend who you can actually work with, who you can team up with, who is going to get value out of this podcast. And that way you can start forming, which niche am I going to dominate? And the way you should look at it is you should look at it as your partners and your teams and anybody that you consult with as your little mastermind group who is on the exact same journey you are. Because here's the thing, the biggest mistake that you can make is to go along this journey by yourself. Okay, because I've seen this time and time again. The people that do this lose motivation. You know, motivation only gets you so far. It's the people that you surround yourself by that consistently rock up every single day that's going to lead you to success. But if you found this information useful, if you're going to implement these strategies, if something clicked for you, if you found an aha moment, let me know, leave a review, let me know, post inside the Online Trainers Club. But more importantly, you are only going to implement this information if someone keeps you accountable. So go send this podcast episode right now to somebody, a friend, family, trainer, colleague, coach, and just say, look, we're going to do this and we're going to do this together. I want you to keep me accountable. Listen to this podcast episode. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you, or you'll hear from me, I don't know when. I'm assuming on the next podcast episode. Have a fantastic day.
Alright, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes and feel free to leave a review. In that way, I can respond and I can take that on board in developing content to serve you. Now, if you're not a part of the Online Trainers Club on Facebook, please do yourself a favor and be a part of the conversation. That's where I add daily tips, tricks, and strategies on how you can build out funnels, how you can get more clients, and ultimately become a better online coach. Thank you for listening.